Hello there, and welcome to Dr. T for today, July the 27th. We are starting off with Stage 1, and we're going up the right-hand side, obviously. I threw my flare right into the safe spot of the rocket launcher just to get away from the incessant damage, but it does put you in range of the sniper tower. If you're really low level and you're really afraid of that sniper tower, you can either throw shocks on it, or you can just let your tanks kill the rocket launcher from a little further out, and then move on to Stage 2. It should be pretty easy. Stage 2, I know what you're thinking. Hey, that says the exact same thing as Stage 1. What an idiot. No. Well, okay, not this time. Stage 2 actually has the exact same hit points as Stage 1. So, yeah, I guess sweet. Interesting tidbit. I don't. Whatever. Anyways, moving on. What's really nice about Stage 2 is your tanks, if you land them in that left-hand corner there, they'll kind of naturally go up to the defenses and stuff, and follow them all the way along, and then you can just flare into the corner. Very natural progression. It's really nice. And then we'll move on to Stage 3. There is a boom cannon actually on Stage 3. But, as you can see, you can just drive right past it. So, while there is a boom cannon with 7,000 hit points on it, you have to give a complete and total of 0 poops. You don't have to give a poop about it. I was going to say other words, but... Alright, moving on. Crawl up the right-hand side, out of range of the boom cannon. All the way around, your tanks will be able to naturally follow the defenses, I guess, and then come down from right above the HQ, and you're going to be completely safe after you clear out all the buildings that I've already cleared out, and you will be able to move on to Stage 4. Stage 4, the hardest Stage 4 ever. This Stage 4, for people who are Stage 4 level, I'm not going to lie to you, This is gonna be your, like, Stage 7 that we've been dealing with for the last couple of weeks. It is crazy hard. All over the left-hand side, there's just a buttload of boom cannons. They vary in level. Most of them are 7.5k hit points, but there is the one that's got 12k, and it's just brutal. The good news is no shock launchers. The other good news is, if you go up the right-hand side, you can completely avoid all of them. That being said, there are a lot of sniper towers and rocket launchers on the right-hand side, and they are, I'm guessing for someone who's, working on Stage 4, a fairly high level. So, the first step, you noticed I flared around that corner when I landed, just past the tree, like right down on the southernmost line of the map. Make sure you flare there, because if you flare there, it prevents your tanks from going up and around the tree and coming back south. They'll take a straight line and they'll go along the south side of that tree, which is important because it keeps them further away from the sniper tower. It's a thing you might want to do. Now, after that, obviously, throw shocks, throw whatever you need to. Very important part of this attack is the lead that I took, which was to take out a sniper tower and a rocket launcher that were kind of sitting there with GBE. The good news is, because we don't have to worry about anything to do with, say, boom cannons, we can use that extra GBE to take out that sniper tower, which, with 116% health boost, still turns into an 8k sniper tower. Like, it's beefy. Don't get me wrong. You're probably gonna have to throw some serious GBE down on that bad boy. The good news is you can share that with the rocket launcher. Again, rocket launcher fairly high level and doing pretty serious damage. But if you take those two out, it'll make everything infinitely easier, and you should be able to get through into the 3 o'clock position where I was and get yourself a win. Then we'll move on to Stage 5. Now, if you were able to do Stage 4, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be able to do Stage 5, assuming you don't mess up. Like, yeah. really miscalculated the GBE on that shock launcher, but that shock launcher has 17k hit points. If you take it down, life will be grand, because there's only the one boom cannon up here, and that boom cannon has 12k hit points. And if you clear out those two things, you don't really have to clear out any other defenses. One shock right here will take out all the sniper towers and machine guns. You will have to put up with persistent damage, I guess, from the rocket launcher, but that's okay. Your medic should be able to cover it as long as those sniper towers don't do anything incredibly horrible. Also, as you'll notice, I only landed one boat of tanks this time. Normally I land two, mostly just to kind of hurry things along and speed them up, if you would. But today I decided, you know, I'm going to be a little bit different. I'm only going to do the one boat of tanks. Now, this is the one part where I might have done things a little bit different. Obviously, I sat there and I let the shock launcher throw shocks over and over, and I was like, it's no big deal, we're able to take this on. I'm hoping that if you have, like, say, 10 tanks out instead of just the 3, the shock launcher will be less effective because they'll fan out a little bit more. But worst case scenario, throw a shock onto the silly shock launcher. Shock the shock, as they say, and let your tanks kind of move on. Your ultimate goal is to get into the bottom left-hand corner, basically. So let your tanks kind of naturally take out the defenses here, and then flare over just to tighten everything up and, you know, get everything into the right position. From that corner, they'll pull forward just a wee bit and start taking on the HQ. The good news is, the boom cannon that's left can't touch it. So, you know, the only thing you really need to worry about is the sniper tower right there, firing away. You can either take it down with GBE, shock it, throw critters if you have it, do whatever you need to distract that sniper tower, and basically cruise on in. The only thing you need to worry about, possibly, if your tanks are really low, is this right here. The time. That's right, I just squeaked in. I literally would have had one shot per tank left, and I squeaked right on through with 5 seconds left. So definitely be mindful of that timer. That's one of the reasons why I said, you know, maybe throw a shock onto the shock launcher, do what you gotta do, just to buy yourself a little bit of extra time at the beginning. I also kind of lost time at the very beginning at my landing, because I didn't take out the shock launcher properly. If you take out that shock launcher properly, hopefully you won't have any problems. But let's move on to Stage 6. Now, Stage 6 does have boom cannons, and it does have shock launchers, and we don't care about any of them. They can go suck an egg, or something else. I don't know. What's so wrong about sucking an egg? I don't know. Suck a rotten egg? Anyways, we will have to throw a little GBE up at the top to blow up the, I believe it's a boom cannon, I want to say. Maybe, no, shock launcher. That's right, it was a shock launcher. And then cut right through the middle. If you go right-hand side, you're going to have to deal with boom cannons, and there's really no need. If you go right-hand side, I did say left-hand side, right, with the boom cannons, sure. On the right-hand side, you're not going to have to deal with any boom cannons, but there's just so many defenses, and they're so densely packed in there. And on this level, they all get 170% bonus to the HP, which means they're all pretty beefy. And basically, I was more concerned that time would become an issue, cutting just straight up that right-hand side. So going through the middle, fewer defenses to worry about, but there's still enough that you can build up enough GBE that you can do whatever you need. Now, obviously, I threw some barrage at the mines and sniper towers. I threw some GBE at the shock launcher. I'm throwing stuns all over these sniper towers. So, like, I'm spending pretty... I don't want to say, like, loose, but I'm not spending hot and heavy, but I'm spreading my GBE all willy-nilly, you know what I mean? And still have a significant amount left on me. So hopefully this helps get you guys through Stage 6 and on to Stage 7, because Stage 7 is awesome today. I'm not gonna lie. Land right-hand side. 442k on the HQ, and as you can see, just a sea of defenses piled up all around it. Like, that's beautiful. The good news is, if you land right-hand side and curve around, you only have to deal with 2 boom cannons. If you go through the south, it will be quicker, but you're going to have to deal with a lot more boom cannons. Also, what's really nice is, while this level was incredibly... It's not easy, it's not difficult, it hit that sweet spot. I think that's a nice way of putting it. It's not like it's just jacked up and destroying our tanks left and right, but you definitely have to use a little bit of strategy. You have to spread out your gunboat abilities to kind of maximize on the old, I guess, usage, efficiency, cost, benefit ratio. I don't know. But because you kind of get a little bit of everything in this, a very enjoyable Stage 7. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's right. The beard gives it 2 beards up. I really enjoyed it. It was challenging and not frustrating. I think that's the nice way of calling it. So anyways, basically let your tanks work their way along the top, and as you roll in here, you're gonna hit the sea, and I mean like freaking sea, of sniper towers. Also, you're gonna have to be very careful because there are boom cannons just to the south of you, so you're going to want to hug that very top line, and you're going to want to choose your shock locations very carefully, because you want to maximize those shocks, because you're going to go through several of them as you work your way up into the top corner. When I was scouting everything out, I did decide on certain shock points that would allow me to shock 2 buildings in each direction, basically hitting right on the intersection of some defenses. So make sure you scout those out, make sure you know exactly where you want to shock, so you can make sure to get the most out of your GBE. Now, here's where I'm going to throw in a Donnie Don't. Donnie Don't repositions his tanks. Don't do that. I don't know. I don't know why I did it. But as you can see, when they moved back in, they dipped down close enough that the boom cannon could start to shoot them. Whereas originally, they were nice and safely out of range of the boom cannon. So, fortunately, I had a little bit of GBE left. I could throw it down and stun the defenses in the south there, and finish off the base for the fat loots and the victory. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has been entertaining. And most importantly, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.